Yay, we're live. Hello. I'm Liz, and I'm here with the lovely author Lindsay Cummings of The Murder Complex. It's intense.
Hey guys.
Let's see. Make sure this is all going. And whatnot. We're going to ask questions and get this party started. Oh, goodness. Somebody's murder complex just got to their house. Mr. FedEx dropped it off. But yeah, feel free to ask all your questions. I've got like a list of stuff.
I'm here. Ah!
Yeah, it does make a lot of noise and stuff.
Alright, we got it.
But yes, we are open to all the questions.
It's like double playing. Okay. I do not know what's going on.
That's the fun part of doing live shows.
That's okay because I brought snacks.
That's good. Goldfish.
My favorite.
All right.
Okay, so you ask the questions.
What? I have questions on my fancy iPad thingy. Okay. All right. So, did you kind of like want to start off with kind of talking about your book and a little summary, little pitch for the people out there who might not know who you are or what you write and all that stuff?
I'm Lindsay Cummings. I just turned 23 yesterday, so
Okay.
that was like the most boring year of my life. It wasn't 21, and it wasn't 25, and it wasn't 18. It was just 23. And I write for HarperCollins. I wrote The Murder Complex. Crap, I don't have it with me. This is The Murder Complex. I wrote this book. And it is set in Florida Everglades. It is a story about two teens, Meadow, who has been trained to survive. My dog is just literally just staring at me right now. Hurley.
Your dog is
Hurley.
adorable, by the way.
Hurley, come here. Come join the party. I always get off track when I'm talking. I'm so sorry about that. Come here, Hurley.
Don't apologize. Just keep going. We'll take the distractions along with the fun talks and stuff because
right.
It's YouTube. We're having fun. Book nerdy.
So Meadow has been trained by her father to survive, even if that means killing to get home at night, because in this world, every night at dark, people are murdered by the hundreds and no one knows why. And Meadow meets Zephyr, who is an orphan, and he wakes up in the morning with dead bodies at his feet, and he doesn't remember killing them. And their stories kind of clash, and trouble goes on from there. So that's The Murder Complex, book one of my new series, and it came out on June 10th. There's also a prequel novella called The Fear Trials, and that came out on June 3rd. So that is that, and it's been super exciting and super fun after a long wait.
All right. Okay. So, to get the questions started, what inspired you to write The Murder Complex?
I get this question probably on the daily.
Oh, probably. Then you can watch this video, and they will have all of their questions answered.
I'll just like make up a fake answer for that question every time I get asked it.
Oh, you
people will
should.
Be like, no one knows the real answer.
It's actually an autobiography.
It is.
You didn't know that.
Don't tell anyone that. No, I actually read this article several years ago about this like super small town that this one summer like all these people were murdered and they didn't really know like who was behind it. And I thought that's like a really cool idea. I kind of want to do a futuristic twist on that. And I wanted to have characters that were like total bad A's. So that sort of became The Murder Complex. And the title never changed, and so I was really, really happy about that. And I don't know where the title came from either. It just like popped into my head one day.
Yeah, because I've started reading it yesterday, and I was just like, there's nothing that says like, and this is the murder complex. It's like, it's not like in the book. It's just kind of like, it's nice because sometimes it just gets kind of cheesy when you like read the title in the book, and you're like, oh,
yeah.
okay.
There it is. No, totally. You will see. I don't know how far you are, but you will see.
Ah. Okay. So, what sets your book apart from other dystopian, futuristic kind of novels?
Well, I think the one thing that was really cool to me was when I sold the series to HarperCollins. My editor like sent me a little description for how they were going to pitch it to people, and literally like the first thing it said was that it was blood soaked, and I was like, oh my gosh, that is totally the murder complex. And I think that kind of sets it apart. It's also by the beach. It's like a bloody beach. But there's a lot more like science fiction stuff to it. That's why they're calling it like a futuristic thriller.
Yeah, like the nanonites or whatever they're called. Like, because at first I was like, what is happening? And then I was like, oh, like they've got these things. Because I was like, I don't know what the nanonites do. And then they talk about like how they kind of like heal them really quickly and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, that's really cool.
I love this. I wish I had them.
Yeah, like, do you ever think that we're gonna ever like live in a world that's like that, that'll have those kinds of technologies?
Oh, I kind of hope not, because then people won't die when they're supposed to, and then it will just be like I'll go to the grocery store to get like hot Cheetos or something, and they will all be gone because there won't be too many people because no one's dying, and I'll be like, my hot Cheetos are back ordered for 3 months.
Darn it, hot Cheetos!
Not acceptable.
Nope. So in the book, Meadow's a middle child. Like, I'm trying to think of how I was trying to say this question, and she's kind of like the caregiver of the family. Like, like, did you draw on your own experiences, like as a sibling or anything like that, to write Meadow?
Yeah, definitely. I'm actually the baby. I just have one older sister. She's 2 years older than me, and I love her. But I always wanted a little sister or a little brother. Like my sister and I would ask for like, you know, baby brother dolls for Christmas so we could like pretend that we had a brother. So I just think the family stuff, like how much I love my sister and how she would probably do anything for me, I think I kind of put some of her into Meadow. But I also put a lot of myself into Meadow. I think I would do the things that she does if I had a little sister to protect.
Trying to see if there are any questions in the comments yet. Okay. Since there are like a lot of like adaptations happening these days with like different books and whatnot, like have you thought about like if the Murder Complex becomes a movie, like who you would cast, or like when you were writing, did you have any like actors in mind?
Yes, 100%. So I went and saw the movie Hannah a couple years ago, and that's with Saoirse Ronan, and she is like perfect. Every time I'm doing
X-Files.
The Hunger Games thing comes on.
Why do I think X-Files? Like, it's so similar. My brain.
It's okay. They're all good.
I got nerdy there. That shows my 90s nerdiness, though. The fact that my dad watched X-Files, so it sounded so similar to that. I was like, what is happening?
Someone else today thought it was X-Files. I was like, no, it's the Hunger Games.
It's so close. You can't mistake them. No, it's so close, though.
It is. You're right. Okay, what was... I'm so off track again.
Like, who would you cast? I know you said Saoirse Ronan.
Yeah. So Saoirse Ronan is awesome. I would choose her kind of as how she looks in Hannah versus like how she looks in The Host. But regardless, she's an awesome actress. And then also, Teresa Palmer, who plays number 6, and I'm number 4. She is super awesome, and she would probably do really well. And then, I don't know if you watch The Walking Dead, but there's a girl who plays Beth in The Walking Dead, and she also looks like the perfect Meadow. So I have her figured out.
Nice.
Zephyr, I think it's like the most typical answer for YA adaptations, but I would still pick Max Irons like in a heartbeat. I love him.
He is beautiful.
I know. And he's also in The Host with Saoirse Ronan, so I can watch them together in The Host if it doesn't happen for the Murder Complex.
Okay, so let's see what next. What in particular like drew you to the dystopian genre?
So I think it really started for me with The Hunger Games, definitely. I read The Hunger Games when I was in high school. I really liked it a lot, but I wasn't like 100% into it until I reread all 3 of them after I had surgery in 2009. And I remember like being so into those books. They were like everything for the week and a half or whatever that I read them. And after I finished reading Mockingjay, I was like, holy crap, I need more. So I literally would just pick up like any dystopian that I could find. And then Divergent. What else? There's so many good ones. I just love like how it could almost be true in the future, but not at the same time.
Like it's plausible in your mind, but you're like, I really hope this doesn't happen, but
exactly. But if it did,
it's a possibility.
I think so. But that, I don't know. I just really I like how there's like aspects of darkness and light. Another one of my favorite dystopians ever is the Legend trilogy.
Oh, I love that series.
So good. I'm obsessed.
One of my friends yesterday, she, like, I guess she just doesn't like June's character, and I was like, but there's reasons for that. There's reasons why she's this way. And I was like, I don't understand. How do you not like this series? I probably read the first book, but I was like, I don't understand. I don't read a lot of dystopian, but I read that one, and I've read The Hunger Games, and I've read a couple other, like C.J. Redwine's
Defiance.
Yeah, and that was pretty cool because it was like fantasy dystopian.
Yeah, fantastical dystopian. That's pretty good too.
There's like a beast of some sort in there. But yeah. Some of these questions are like we've tied into other questions and you've answered some of them. How long does it take you to write your a book? Like, I don't know.
Oh, that's a good one. It really just depends. Like for every different book that I write. For the Murder Complex, it took me 2 weeks to write the first draft, just because the idea was like totally there for me, and I just kind of like I just totally felt that book. And then I've also worked on other stuff since. There's one book I've been working on for like 2 years now, and it's still not done. I also get a lot of shiny new ideas, and so I just kind of bounce around. But everything is different. Sometimes I have an idea that like I super, super love, and I'm obsessed with it, like the Murder Complex, and it doesn't take long at all. Other times I have an idea that's really cool, but I just like can't figure it out, so it takes a lot longer. But every author I think is different.
Oh yeah, because I read about like Kirsten White and like some other people who can like every novel is like the first draft is in a week, and then of course you have to edit and stuff like that. But like sometimes it's like ridiculous to hear people but like at the same time it's like it's like once you get that idea it's like okay, get it all out, like just. I know I have a hard time writing sometimes where I'm just like, okay, I have an idea, I just need to write it, and I'm terrible at it.
I actually like really hate writing. I know that sounds really strange, but I hate writing the first draft of a novel. Like I would rather pay someone to do it for me. My favorite part is like getting to edit what I've done later on, because then it's already there and I get to like puzzle pieces around, and it's so much more fun for me to do. So I hate writing, but I love having written, is what my dad says to me.
I like coming up with the ideas, like
Yeah,
just
that's more exciting to me.
about how ridiculous something, or like I don't know. I just like coming up with like the quirkiest ideas and stuff.
Right.
Yep. How did you come up with the names for your characters?
Ooh. Oh, I just saw that one on Twitter. So I use baby name books. I know a lot of authors actually do that.
Mm-hmm.
Literally just get like every name ever, and you get to scroll through and pick from them. But for the murder complex, I wanted Meadow to have like a super weak name because she's such a baddie, and I wanted Zephyr to have like a sexy name. Oh my gosh, it's the Capitol ringtone.
What a nerd.
I know.
At least I didn't confuse it with like some other like TV show or movie.
No, I just admitted. I'm like, I have the Mockingjay text thing. I have the Capitol anthem as my cell phone ring. I have like all the shirts ever, and I started wearing my hair in a side braid like right after I saw the first movie. I like want to be her. Sorry, okay, I'm off track again. Crap.
I don't even remember what question. Oh, names of characters.
Yeah.
God.
At my launch event, I got that same question, and I was like, oh, yeah, I wanted Meadow to have a weak name. And they were like, oh, and I don't know if that really is a weak name. I was like, well, if you met a girl named Meadow.
Yeah, you would think that she's like very like,
oh, so sweet. Like, you probably turn your homework in right on time. And stuff like that. But no. So I really wanted like the opposite thing.
Yeah. Let's see. Any questions? If you could kill off one of your own characters, who would you?
That's not fair. Who asked that?
Let's see. Kirsten Spangler on Twitter, Kirby129.
How dare you, Kirby129?
Uh-oh. You've incurred the wrath of the author.
Wrath. No. Ooh. I guess the answer to that question would be if you read the book, you would know who I wanted to kill off because I did it.
There you go.
But that's hard because they're like your kids, and you like literally have to sit there and be like, all right, time to go.
Let's see. If you could trade places with anyone in your book, who would it be?
Ooh, that's a good one. I don't think I've ever gotten that before. I would like to say I would like to be Meadow for a day, but not in the aspect that she goes around like killing everyone that gets in her way. But I would like to be as strong and as talented at fighting as she is. But I also there's Zephyr's best friend in the book. Her name is Talon, and she cracks me up. She's like, that's like saying that I think I'm funny because I wrote her. I'm like, oh my gosh, she's so funny, even though I'm the one that did all her jokes. But I just think that she'd be fun to hang out with. So maybe I'd like to be her. She's a lot more confident than I am in real life. She has dark hair. It'd be kind of fun to have dark hair for a day.
Be your alternate personality or whatever.
I did it once. I dyed my hair dark, and I will never do it again. It did not work with me.
Yeah, it works for some people to like go the total opposite, but for some people it's like, okay, you've got blonde hair. It's not gonna work out.
It was good for like a week, and then literally my own grandmother told me like 10 times, like, I just don't like this dark hair on you. You just look so pale. You just look so sick. And I was like, but you're my grandma, and you can't say these things.
Grandma's gonna say the truth. Like, I know my grandma was always the kind of person to be like, I'm old. Well, her excuse was that she was old, and so she could say whatever she wanted, whether it was true, untrue, nice or not. And so she was a little special. But
Hey, I like it. I think sometimes I might accidentally do that to my husband. Like right now, he's trying to grow his hair out, and he's in like this awkward stage where it like looks like a chili bowl, like right over the top of his ears. And I've told him like 10 times, I'm like, just cut it.
Yeah, like sometimes you have to trim it or something. Kind of like, because I know I have friends who like have grown out their pixie cuts and stuff like that, and like you have to like cut certain parts of it because certain parts of your hair will grow faster than others, and so kind of like, just gonna.
It's just not working out for you right now.
Yeah. Okay. Freaking hate Gale 45, who is a regular around here. As an author, how do you react to reviews? Do you try to stay away from them, or do you watch as many as you can?
That's a great question. So the first, like right when my review copies started going out, like 6 months before release or so, I was like religiously checking my reviews like every single day. And the great reviews, like the 5-star, 4-star, like I would be like bouncing off the walls, like super ecstatic. And then when I'd get like a 1 or 2-star, it would just like crush me, and I would lay in bed and be like, my life is over. There's no point to my life. Like just so dramatic. Because no one wants to hear, bad things about something that they put their heart and soul into. But sometimes those bad reviews, there's truth in them, like little aspects that, you maybe could have done better in your book. But honestly, I do not look at any of them anymore, like ever. Even if people like tweet me to them or tweet them to me, I'm just like, oh, I just can't do it, because then it like gets into my head and messes with me. I don't like it.
Let's see. So what are some of your other than the Hunger Games and other than some of the dystopian ones, what are some of your favorite young adult novels?
Ooh. I think one of my favorite books of all time that kind of, I think, could be considered young adult is Catcher in the Rye, because he's like the biggest jerkwad ever, and I love him, and that book cracks me up. I think Talon from the Murder Complex would get along really well with Holden from Catcher in the Rye. And then I also, obviously, have read the Harry Potter series like probably 7 times. And then there's this one, what is it called? No, I can't be forgetting this now. Victoria Schwab.
Oh, yeah.
What's her first one that she came out with?
Dear Witch.
That book.
That one is beautiful.
So well done. And the whole time I was reading it, I was like highlighting lines, and I was like, I will never write as good as this woman writes. Like just
magical. Like, I don't know how she does it, but yeah. She writes so many books, and like I always see her tweets about her like writing all the time and coming out with all these books, and they're all really, really good.
Yeah, she's awesome. And then also, what else do I love? There are literally, I love like every book I've ever read, basically. Elusive by Emily Lloyd Jones. It's coming out next month from Little Brown, and it's like X-Men meets Ocean's 11, and it is one of the coolest books I think I've ever read. Like, it's just so cool. Like, they have all these crazy powers. Like, this main character, she is an illusionist, and so she, like, creates illusions, and she, like, there's this one scene where she, like, shoots illusion bullets out of an illusion gun, and I was like, oh my gosh. Like, I'm obsessed with that book now. I already pre-ordered it.
That sounds really cool. Like, anything with X-Men is just like, okay, I'm sold.
And her writing is killer. It's like the whole thing plays out like a movie.
That's cool. And along the same line, like, are you reading anything currently?
What did I just start? I'm reading On Writing by Stephen King,
Hmm.
which is like totally inspiring. And Midnight Thief. It comes out next month as well, I believe. Um, and that's like a really good YA fantasy. There's people in the book that are like animal talkers, like they can like kind of command animals like to do their bidding, and it's also about like breaking into castles and stuff. It's really good. I like
That's cool.
it. What are you reading? I want to know what you're reading.
Like 5 million things at the same time. Like, I just started a contemporary that's called Just Like the Movies, and it's very, I think it's very like cliche, cutesy kind of stuff, but at the same time, like it's just fun. It's just fun. And of course, reading The Murder Complex, and I think that's it. I feel like I just keep buying ebooks, but
It's too easy to buy them. Like you just
yeah, that and like getting on NetGalley. I'm also reading Jacoby. I forget who it's by, but it's like fantasy and like mystery. So it's kind of like it's very Sherlock inspired, but it's a young adult fiction novel.
I'm gonna read that.
Yeah, it's really good. I liked it. It's about like this girl who I think she forget where she like came in from, but she's like his assistant, and so it's kind of like from her point of view. So it's kind of like she's Watson to his Sherlock,
Oh,
but it's got like a fantasy aspect to it.
my gosh, I'm about to sneeze.
Achoo!
Hurley, calm down. My friend just like was like creeping into my bedroom. It was like, nah, and my dog just went nuts on him.
My dad does that to my dog, and I'm just like, he's gonna bark really, really loud. No one's gonna hate you now. So what inspired you to start writing to begin with? Like, when did you start writing and figuring out that you wanted to do it as like a thing in your life?
So I always liked writing books. When I was little, I would always write short stories on my parents' computer, like little like farm animal stories. Uh, and then I graduated high school and I was going to go off and do music school. And I started getting sick. That's kind of like my story. I think a lot of people know that, but I've dealt with a lot of like chronic fatigue issues. And so I basically couldn't keep going to college. And I was just like laying in bed all the time, like moping about life because I couldn't do anything. And my dad was like, you know what? You've always loved writing and reading, so why don't you actually like go for it? So I did, and it kind of turned into a passion instead of just a pastime. And it went from there, and now I don't want to do anything else like ever again. I love it.
That's super cool. I'm refreshing the page to see if there are any new comments and questions and things. Pause. Scroll. So, since you mentioned Harry Potter, what house are you in?
Oh, Gryffindor. Definitely. But maybe a little bit of Slytherin too, to be honest.
I feel like we're all a little Slytherin.
I think so too. At every point in someone's life, you have to be.
Yeah.
But definitely not Ravenclaw, and definitely not Hufflepuff, because I would not work out in there.
So after you finish writing a book, do you like to dive into writing another book, read a book, or take a break? Ask Annie.
It kind of depends. If I have like a new idea kind of off on the side, sometimes I like want to blast through the book I'm working on so I can immediately like turn over and start on the new one. But then other times, if I'm working on a book that's like been so difficult for me that all I want to do is like sleep, then I'll take like a 2-week break and just literally do nothing at all. And my idea of doing nothing at all is like reading a book all day in bed. or by the pool. So I always like have something
That's super
bookishly.
productive.
It really is.
It's research.
It is, and it's better than like sitting in front of the computer all day, which I also do. But
You gotta reach out to your reading people.
that's what I claim.
Okay. Let's see. So, do you have any favorite pastimes other than reading and writing?
I have a horse, and I love to go out to the barn and just hang out with him. I also love to nap. That's like my favorite thing in the world is just taking like a 4-hour nap. I love it. I also really love going to the movies, but I like not that many, like my dad and I will go to movies together, but my husband like hates going to them. So I think at some point I might become one of those people that goes to the movies like alone just because I enjoy it.
Yeah, I was talking to a friend today, and he was like, "So, what movies have you seen lately?" And I was like, none."
Yeah.
And he went to see The Fault in Our Stars with his wife, and like apparently he was like one of very few guys in the theater, and was laughing at people when they were crying.
Yeah, I haven't been able to bring myself to go and see that because
I was like, I'm waiting for the DVD.
I think that's what I'm gonna do because I'm not like a really emotional person, and so I'm afraid that either like it might actually make me cry, or B, I might not cry at all, and like these other women that are like sobbing will look at me like I'm like the most heartless person ever, just like looking totally fine after the movie's over. So I think I'm just gonna lose it.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just like, I'll wait for Redbox.
But I did see Maleficent, or however you say that, and that was pretty good.
Yeah, I think that's how you say it. Yeah. I think that's how you say her name. I was like, I got confused. Even though I took a class on Disney not too long ago. That was fun. Are there any other questions? Let's see. Click on all the windows. Like, Twitter.
I don't know where you're finding these.
Some of them I made up. Some of them are in the YouTube comments of this video. Some are on Twitter.
Classic.
That was my voice.
I know.
Let's see.
There's one about writer's block. Oh, there's a lot. There's a lot. Ah!
Oh, wow, I saw a bunch of them now.
Yeah, there's a ton. Oh my gosh!
So, you want to answer the question about writer's block? What do you do about the block of writers that get in your way?
The block of writers. I think there's like two different viewpoints on this. Like, there's some authors that think it totally doesn't exist at all. And then there's some authors that are like, oh, I get it all the time. I think I have both viewpoints. Sometimes I will swear that I have writer's block because everything I write just sucks, or I'm totally not inspired. But I think that's a hard one. The best thing that I've found is if I have writer's block, or not writer's block according to other authors, I will like open up a journal and just write something that's not fiction.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes that helps, and then other times I'll just step away. Because sometimes when you're writing and reading every single day for like 2 years, your mind kind of needs a break sometimes. I know a lot of authors will like take their laptop and go like outside or somewhere different. I just take a nap, and that makes it all better.
So you write mostly like from home?
Pretty much, yeah. I write full time, and so that's literally all I do. I get up, I go feed my horse, I come home, I write, I take a nap, I write, and then I read, and then I go feed my horse, and then I go to bed. So it's literally books all day. all the time, which is not a bad thing. Not at all.
Cool. Where are all the questions? How long is the Murder Complex series is gonna be? And my words are brain. How long is the series going to be? And that was a weird question. I think there was a typo in there. It says, and is it hard to put words into paper for you? Advice. So I guess that was the kind of writer's block kind of thing. But yeah, so how long is Murder Complex, like that series?
2 books.
2 books.
And I already wrote the second one and turned it into my editor. So now I'm just waiting on edits. And she's either going to be like, oh, I love this, or she's going to be like, this is the worst book I've ever read. You need to fix it. So I really don't know at this point. But there's always a chance there could be more books if it like sells amazingly. But I kind of like the idea of a duology. Like, I like 2 books.
Yeah. There's been a couple of duologies out there, and it's kind of cool because I know for long people were kind of like trilogied out. They were like, all right, we get it.
I was too, to be honest. Like, I think at this point I would either like to have 2 books, or I would like to have it be like a huge series. Like,
Yeah.
Like, I like picking, like, I just recently picked up the Vampire Academy series, and I read them all within, like, 2 weeks because I just couldn't stop. So I kind of like the big series, like 7 books or whatever. But 3 books I'm starting to get kind of, like, tired of.
When you have, like, multiple ideas, like, how do you sift out, like, which one you go with?
The one that has a contract on it is the one that I go with. At this point, I'm trying to make a living off of writing because it's all that I can do. I could do more, but like physically, this is the best situation for me, and that's all that I want to do. And so I kind of started to have to think about my like works in progress as, you know, is this like a sellable idea, or has this been done before? So I try to pick the most unique one, and I also try to push myself every time. So if it's like an idea that I think is going to be too easy for me, then I won't do it, because I'm going to get better. I don't want to be, you know, the same my whole career. I just want to get better. I want to be Lauren Oliver so badly.
You want a mini series on Hulu?
Right.
Like, for your querying process, like, what was that like for, you know, selling your first book?
Intense. The first book I ever wrote was, like, way too long. Like, it was 150,000 words or something, which is just ridiculously long. So I took that one to a writer's conference, and I met a bunch of agents. So I sent probably like 12 query letters to agents that I'd actually met in person, and then I probably sent out like 100 query letters to just agents online. And it never made it that far. Like, they would always request more, but by the end they'd be like, oh, you know, it's just not unique enough, or it's too long. So I have like 120-something rejection letters, like, still in a file from that first book. And then with the Murder Complex, I ended up querying an agent that I met at the first writers' conference. And she was like the first or second agent that I'd queried for the Murder Complex. And that was like maybe a week-long process before I signed with her. So it happened really fast once I wrote the Murder Complex, but before then it was like a year and a half of rejection, which was not fun at all. There was a lot of ice cream that I ate in that time period.
What's your favorite flavor of ice cream, since you're the expert on?
Right. No, I like chocolate. Just plain old chocolate. What do you like?
I like butter pecan.
Ooh, I wish I could eat that. I'm allergic to pecans, but it always smells so good.
Yeah, it's got that like caramel kind of
Mm-hmm.
stuff.
And mint chocolate chip is good too.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Um, I have to like refresh this page.
I'm trying to watch it live. It doesn't like me.
Oh.
Ah,
I have to like
ah.
refresh the page. Carla wants to know if you have a middle name and if you had to choose an author name, like a pen name, other than Lindsay Cummings, what would it be? Like, you know, how J.K. Rowling and A.S. King have their...
Right. My middle name is Michelle, and that was almost my first name, but I don't know why they changed it. I think if I had to choose a pen name, I would just be L.M. Cummings or Lindsay Michelle. I don't know if I'll ever... Ah! My dog just, like, attacked me for a goldfish. Get back. Get back. No one wants you here right now. Just kidding. I love you. Come back. No, but there's some really cool, like J.K. Rowling. Like that just sounds like it's the coolest name ever.
Yeah, it sounds very like esteemed, like, you know,
Like,
somebody who's written novels.
this is someone who has more money than the Queen.
Yeah, very much so.
Right.
I saw people being like, she's replying to people on Twitter, and I was like, this is actual news. Like, I know for a while she was like, pen and paper are my, you know, the priority. And so it was actually a joke between some of my friends at one point. But yeah. So do you play any music or have any sort of like, you know, ambiance you need to have like when you write your books?
No, I do not because I get too caught up in like singing the song that's on that I lose complete focus on the manuscript. So no, but lately I've been listening to the Divergent soundtrack, the Fault in Our Stars soundtrack, and the Catching Fire and Hunger Games soundtracks. And I still will go back and listen to the Twilight soundtrack because that was...
Those had really good music on them.
It really did. The movies were not so great. I still watched all of them, and I still went to all the midnight premieres, but the music was really good.
Like, you know, a sense of like fandom and stuff like that, so it was fun.
It was fun. I loved it.
Yeah, I don't think I went to any of the midnight premieres, but like I saw the first three? No. I saw most of the first. I think I went to see the third one and then had to go home for some reason or another. But yeah. Yeah, there's ups and downs.
Better, but that's okay. I think they did great things for like the bookish world. Like they...
Oh yeah, like getting the... Yeah, because I think without that we wouldn't have had like the Hunger Games and stuff like that.
So I'm totally grateful for that, and
yeah.
I may or may not have had a poster of Edward Cullen on my ceiling all through high school.
Yeah, I might have had one on my wall. I'm 3 years older than you, so I was in college by that time.
Okay.
I think my mom or my sister bought it for
It's
me.
okay. I would... Sure. Uh-huh.
Yeah. I got it. But I was an RA, so like I put it like so when when I opened the door, people would see it.
You're so beautiful. Oh man.
Yeah. So I see that you have some tattoos. Are any of them literary?
Yes, actually. There's this one. Wait. Crap.
It's like it got too dark. I was like, what is happening?
Wait, can you see it now?
Does it say right? Yeah.
Yeah, it does. So there's that one. I put that there because I like to write. And then there's also this like feather that originally was like a sketched quill, and it was like really poorly done. So I have had this thing worked on like 3 times. So now it's like a blackened eagle feather. And then there's also the Fearless tattoo. Meadow has that in the murder complex. And then I have one back here on my shoulder that's in Elvish, and it says the murder complex, but it says it in Elvish because I was like, I can't have the murder complex like tattooed on my shoulder. Like children will be terrified and they won't let me into places. And so I was like, well, do it in Elvish. No one can read that unless I'm at Comic-Con. And then I also have, God, there's so many. I also have a quote from Delirium on my ribs. It's, I love you, remember they cannot take it. Because I love that quote. That's all. I would like more.
I feel like if I ever got tattoos, they would all be literary, so.
Oh, yeah. They're so addicting.
Yeah, I have friends who have like sleeves or like half sleeve or down to like their elbow or whatever. I'm just like, ah.
I don't think I would ever get a sleeve because I don't want to like look down and not be able to see like flesh. Like
yeah, I feel like it's a little too much. Like, and some of their tattoos are, I'm just like, I feel like you just needed to fill space, and some of them just look really weird. I'm like, they have to, like, for me, they have to like have some sort of like significance, and I felt like getting a Hawaiian flower looking thing.
Yeah, I like them to have meaning. If they're going to be on me the rest of my life, then they better be important. Look, Kai's here! Kai, say hi!
Hello, Peppy. He's like, I have no interest in this.
I just want the food you have.
Yeah, I came for the food. So, Faiza asks, have you ever had a crazy fan experience? If not, what do you think your reaction would be if you ever had one? So, like, if you've ever had somebody, like, come up to you.
Never, like, I've had an inappropriate experience. I've gotten a couple pictures from men that deserve to be in prison. But at my launch party, there were these 2 high school girls that like made T-shirts, and they came up to me and they were like, "Oh my gosh, like you're so pretty, and you're like actually here." And that was really cool to me because, a lot of times when you're like sitting at home writing books, hey, stop barking! You're ruining this moment. Okay, take them out of here. I command you. That's how I speak to my husband. I command him to do things. Not really. But yeah, that was a cool experience. They just made, those 2 little girls made it all worth it. That was so much fun. But the crazy stuff, no. I did witness some crazy fan stuff at a signing for Veronica Roth one time.
Oh gosh.
Sprinting to try and get to her and like knocking things over to try and get to her, and that was insane.
Yeah, I'm going to an event in Atlanta that's like her and Marie Lu, and like all the books are pre-signed, and I think they're thinking about that because it's a because they're having it at the same place that they had Tour de Nerd Fighting, which held like 2,000 people, and so it's just kind of like, yeah, we're not gonna have a signing. That's just not gonna happen. Like they're gonna be pre-signed, so and that's fine.
Yeah, those get a little nuts.
Oh yeah. I've been to like BEA and stuff like that, which like this year wasn't so bad, but I've been there like a couple years ago when it was just kind of a little bit less organized, and it was just kind of like, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm gonna get like cut or something.
Yes, I had a friend that was bitten at BEA.
Yeah.
That's a wild one. But no, it's weird because like I've also been to events where you get to meet like actual celebrities.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny to me that there are people out there that like feel the same way about celebrities that they feel about authors. Like,
oh yeah, it's so insane.
But I don't know. it's cool. I like that. I think
Exactly. Like because that's how I feel about like authors and stuff like that. I'm just like,
I do
you
too.
guys are like our celebrities and stuff like that. Like we're interested in your lives, and you know, and we follow you on Twitter, and like we're able to like talk to people and
Right. I think that's the coolest part is like authors are so like you can actually talk to them. Like you can't really talk to like Jennifer Lawrence. You can't just like tweet her up and expect her to answer. But like a lot of times authors will answer.
yeah. Somebody wants to know if you listen to Lana Del Rey.
I do actually. My favorite of hers right now. I hope this is Lana Del Rey. Let me check my iTunes so I don't sound like an idiot. Hold on. Oh man. I don't have like any of her albums or anything, but oh yeah, it's that Young and Beautiful song from The Great Gatsby.
Uh-huh.
Oh, it's so cool. But yeah, she's really cool. I also really like Florence and the Machine.
Mhm.
Really like that kind of music. It's just like
Oh yeah.
moody, feely music.
See if there's any last questions before we wrap this thing up, because we've got 7 minutes left. Can you believe it's been almost an hour?
Yeah, that's actually. Oh yeah.
My voice is coming from your computer. Let's see.
Did you?
So like when you were querying and stuff like that, did you ever think about going self-published?
At some points I had that thought pop into my head because the thing about being like traditionally published is it takes like 2 years, sometimes longer, and that is so freaking hard to wait. Because all you want to do is like have your book and hold it in your hands and like hand it to someone and be like, please read this.
Yeah, because I had heard about it like a while back, and I was like, when is this book coming out? Come on.
And that was like 3 years ago. So that's the hardest part, you know. And I mean, if you were to self-publish, you get to decide your timeline. And for me, traditionally publishing was definitely the way to go. But it's different for everyone. That's not to say that at some point, like in the future, I might not, you know, put something out myself. But right now, I'm pretty happy with the way things are going. And I don't know. It's definitely hard to be patient. I can definitely say that. And sometimes I am jealous of people that, you know, self-publish and put their books out there really quickly.
Mm-hmm.
There's pluses and minuses to every part of the publishing world, no matter where you go. But it's all worth it.
Yep.
Oh, man.
Let's see.
These questions are like popping up in like random order.
Oh yeah, I put them in instead of top comments, I put newest first. And if you had to describe the murder complex in 3 words, what would they be?
Bloody. God, that's so hard. I would describe it in 3 words as the murder complex.
There you have it.
That is the best answer I could give. Bloody, actiony, and beachy. That's like the worst 3 words ever.
So it's a summer beach read, you guys. You heard it here first. For the Lord of Blood.
Yes, give it to all your younger cousins and children.
Yeah. Yeah, your grandma should definitely read it on the beach.
My grandma's reading it right now. Both of my grandmas are, and that scares me. I'm like, please don't read like from page whatever to page whatever. Just like skip past that part and pretend that I didn't ever write.
Yeah, forget that I'm the author, just read it. Just
right. It's not me.
Some other girl named Lindsay Cummings, you know. We went to high school together.
No, there is a librarian named Lindsay Cummings on Twitter, which is pretty cool.
Nice. So she gets a lot of your tweets.
Maybe. I think if I ever stopped like being an author, I would want to be a librarian.
Uh-huh.
They're so cool.
Right? You have to hang out with books all day.
Right, that's like something only a book lover would say. Like, librarians are so cool.
Yeah, like it kind of sucks that like, you know, they're, you know, libraries shutting down and like different stuff and whatever, but like at the same time it's like, dude, you get to do stuff and help people figure out what to read.
Yeah, it's pretty much the coolest job ever. No, I almost went to school to be an English teacher also, and that didn't work out. I actually failed my college English class, that's just not good.
So any last words?
Thank you guys for coming, if you can. Yeah, thanks for having me. This was fun. I haven't ever done one of these before, even though it's like, I don't know what facial expressions you're making at me because it's so laggy.
Ones. I'm just sticking out my tongue the whole time. Every time you talk, I'm just like, she can't see my face.
It's funny. Is it laggy on your end? Can you see me?
Yeah, I can see you. You sound fine and everything.
Oh.
I know I look like I'm like for me, I look like I'm lagging, so I'm just like, Yeah. Everybody go buy this book. I would hold it up, but I have an ebook copy.
Oh, it's okay. I don't have mine either right now. I have like 30 in the other room, but that would require getting up, and I just don't
Who
want
wants to do that?
No.
No one.
Well, thanks for watching, you guys. If you were, thanks for coming.
Yeah. All right. See you guys in another chat. Thanks for being here, and keep reading.